Hello, and welcome to episode 170 of Gamers and the Lost Spark podcast. I'm your host, Antony, and joining me this week, it's the other spark on the pod. He's just what you need on a cold, wintry night. It's Stu!
Good afternoon, good evening, Merry Christmas, may I say. Now we're in December. The Christmas tree is up, the lights are up, and I'm officially waiting for Santa.
Let's just take a moment for my dad joke. The wintry stew. Stew.
Oh, that went straight over my head.
I saw the perplexed look on your face, and I can't take credit for it because it went down really badly. That was Nicola's idea. I was down in the kitchen making dinner. I'm like, I'm going to say this about stew. She was like, what about stew? And I was just like, yeah, that's really funny. But we found it funny. Anyway, move on, Stu.
Well, if it's Nicola's, it was brilliant. Really good. Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, she knows where I live.
Let's re-record it quickly. Right. Anyways, dude. Hello, sir. How you been? How's your week been?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, had a busy weekend. So since we last podded, because we had a gap last week, didn't we? I think
we did indeed.
So yeah, it's all blurring into one this year. I can't believe it's the year's out already. But yeah, no, we had I did another marathon. Just another marathon the other weekend in Rye Harbour, and that was fun, if not painful. A 6-hour race I did, so that was fun.
Wow!
And then this weekend just gone, me and the family, we went up to Bluewater, the local sort of mall, I guess you would call it in America, a nice big mall where you go to watch your movies. And we went up there and did some Christmas shopping and did some ice skating.
Right.
And went and saw Santa. That was for me, not for Molly. That was me. I wanted to see Santa. But yeah, no, it was a good weekend. So the ice skating was really cool, although I couldn't partake in it for too long because it was hurting my knee.
Right.
From the running I've done recently. But I got some great videos of the girls doing it, and it was the first time Molly's ever been ice skating. So that was really, really good fun. I really do recommend if anybody can get out there and do some sort of festive ice skating this time of year. It was very, very enjoyable.
That's so cool. I noticed we had our annual one has just popped up in Tunbridge Wells. The skate. It always has like these big menacing capital letters on the hill. It's just like skate, like shouting at you that you need to skate. and that's up, which is always good fun. There's always like lots of little huts around it as well. But the one at Bluewater is quite nice, isn't it? It's quite a cool little kind of setup.
It was really good. I mean, hats off to the guys. It was so well run. It was just like a big sort of marquee out the back. So you sort of walk out the back of the lower food court, I think it is, where you have sort of zizis and things like that in Bluewater. And then you walk out the back and there's Santa's grotto off to one side, which was heaving.
Right,
and then into the ice skating sort of rink, which was really nice. Proper ice as well. So and they were looking after it between each session. So that was really good. So and we sort of were tactful parents and used the Santa's grotto and the ice skating to break up the day of shopping.
Yes.
So, any listeners out there who do have children know that they don't like shopping for very long. So it was sort of get there, ply Molly with cake from Starbucks and a hot chocolate and loads of sugar. And then we went to see Santa, and then we went and did a little bit of shopping, then we went and had some food, and then we did some more shopping, and then we went to ice skating, and then we did ice skating, then we come out and did more shopping.
Yes.
So it was we sort of lined it up nicely, so it wasn't until right at the end she was starting to get tired and irritable. Actually, I was as well, but I left Lego to the end, so I got excited by that.
Nice. There was a bit at the end. There was a carrot dangling for you, so at the end and stuff like that. How was your trip to the Lego store? Did you buy anything?
Expensive. Very expensive. I was toying and contemplating when the Batmobile came out last week. I think it was Friday. It was actually Black Friday. I think it came out.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, the 27th or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got the emails. I got the email first thing, and it was like now available. This was I was up at stupid o'clock on Friday, so I got it, and I went on the website, and it was there, and I'm like, I don't know. It looks really cool, but I want to see it. I want to see it in the skin or in the brick first. So I went in there and had a look around and saw it and kept on looking at it, kept on contemplating it, and they'd unfortunately run out of the free mini Batmobile that goes with it. So that was a bit like, okay, I was sort of going to utilise to sell that to claw some money back for the purchase. But in the end, I ended up buying said Batmobile. And I ended up buying a Christmas gingerbread house, and then I ended up buying a Santa Claus and a Mother Claus blockhead,
right?
And a few other little bits and pieces. So yeah, I think I came out there with I think it was just over £300. I think I spent in Lego that
nice.
day.
That's a good shop.
But I got a free Christmas tree and I got a free little Santa. But as my wife said, it wasn't free because she spent 350 quid to get it.
Yes.
But it was. I didn't pay for it,
exactly.
so it was free. Didn't matter how much I spent, it was free.
Webster Dictionary clearly defines free.
Yes. But no, so no, we did that. That was fun, and then I'm trialing a new bit of tech at home. I've bought myself, or I've put up in the lounge, one of these new Samsung Frame TVs.
Okay.
Which actually I was thinking would be really good for your movie room, since we've talked about that before. So it's a 55-inch Samsung 4K TV,
right?
But when you're not using it, you can have it as you can choose from some of the artwork on the phone, which you can get free or you subscribe to, or you could actually I was thinking today you can actually take some screensavers, and make sure they're in a proper resolution, but you could put like movie artwork up there and things like that. So I've sort of got that up in the lounge at the moment, which my wife's not very happy about because she never associated herself with having two TVs in the lounge. But it's sort of there as a trial, and it's also there as my Christmas gaming TV. If the other TV is being used, then I can use that to play me games on. So, but yeah, no. Other than that, it's been normal working, normal getting ready for Christmas. But yeah, happy to be back on the pod. But what's your weekend been like, or what's your week been since we last podded?
Well, I mean, interestingly, first of all, actually, before I jump into mine, what was the? I meant to ask you, what was the? Because we got sidetracked on Lego. What was the Blue Water Santa like? Was he good?
Yeah, he was all right, actually. He was. I close your ears for any children listening right now. I don't think he was the only one there. Spoiler.
Okay.
But I think it was Parham High and CM Fly sort of thing. But yeah, no, he was all right. He was a bit young for his age, and to be honest, I don't think he sold Molly that he was the real Santa. But then she is 9 now.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, all in all, the experience was really good. It was based around the Nutcracker. So you sort of, anybody who's been to Harry Potter World, you sort of walk into a room and then they do a little thing about the Nutcracker in front of you. And then rather than the cinema screen passing, they take you through a door into a little workshop where you create a decoration, and then they take you through into where you can have your photograph taken on Santa's chairs, and then they take you through to see Santa. And then at the end of it, they try and get loads of money out of you for photographs.
Right.
But no, all in all, it was good. It was certainly one of the better grottos I've been to. So very, very worth it. Very well worth it.
Because I say that because the one in Tunbridge Wells, the Santa, the real Santa who is in Tunbridge Wells, honestly, the guy is awesome. He just sits there. There's no preamble. It's just he's there. And the other day, so he turned up the other day. And I was kind of walking past, and I had this ginormous grin on my face, and he waved at me. Like, he just waved at me, so I just waved at him again, and I was like, and I just mouthed, "Hello, Santa." So even at my age of something, I was just like, he really made me smile. He really looks like, he's been there for a couple of years, but he really so he probably recognizes me as a smiley crazy guy, but he's just really authentic, he's just really cool. So he kind of gave me a bit of a wave, so I was very happy.
No, I did go through there the other week. I can't remember what I was up to, but actually I think it was when I was coming up to see you guys for XO19, and I parked in Tunbridge Wells and I walked down through, and they were setting it up then, I think, and it looked quite good, and I think we've done it a couple of years,
right?
don't think we did it last year. I think we've done it a couple of years, and you're right. Yeah, if it's the same guy, it was very, very good. The real Santa was spot on.
He's Santa. He really is Santa. But anyway, as for my week, a couple of weeks ago I was talking about woodworking. This weekend I started doing something. I had a little project, so it was really nice actually. This weekend we kind of finally had no rain. It was dry, so I needed to get out. I needed to get out and do the stuff that we've been doing. So Nicola's still painting the office. We're almost finished. But so we came up with the idea of kind of the eaves that we've got in the office. We wanted to kind of make the doors and make them very decorative and kind of put like a little trimming around it. So it's very much kind of all talking about angles. It was all like kind of cutting beading and doing all of that. And I was out in the conservatory just doing that all like on Saturday. And I was so happy doing it. I really was. I was like, definitely, this is something that I've got to do next year, because I was just so happy doing it. And actually, before I came up to pod, the reason why I was late, it wasn't my fault. It was Amy Paula and Nick Offerman's fault, because a new season of Making It has started. And I think I was talking about this last year, when it was on, but Making It is basically just like it's like the Bake Off. So it's like if you mix Parks and Rec with the Bake Off, and they're all crafters, and they just make stuff. And I was just like, I just sit there and I just have this biggest grin on my face. There was this one guy who made like a hot dog out of wood, and the bun and all the sesame seeds were like screws that he was putting in it. But it just looked so effective, and it was really cool. So that's why I was late. So apologies, not my fault, therefore. So we did a bit of woodworking on Saturday, did a bit of gardening on Sunday as well. So I was really kind of like, I just didn't want to come in. I was like a child, I was just like, I don't want to come in. I just want to stay out. So I kind of did lots of that, which was really cool. And then this weekend is the weekend where we're going to put up our Christmas tree. So we're going to Oxford Christmas Market on Friday. I've got a day off on Friday, which is lovely. So we're going to go to Oxford Christmas Market on Friday, and then we're going to put up our trees, because I think we have about 3 trees in the house. So we have like one on each floor. So we're going to put up our trees and all of that over the weekend. So I'm quite looking forward to really kind of getting a bit festive with in the house.
I do enjoy Christmas weekend. We the last few weeks we've really felt Christmassy. We found ourselves sort of sitting in the lounge on a Sunday and like, Kate's been on her laptop doing a little bit of work. I've been on my laptop catching up with some work, and then Molly's been drawing. But we've had sort of like Channel 5 on or Sky Christmas movies on, and it's just sort of got us really Christmassy. And then this Sunday, I think we did Sank in the morning. I can't think what it was now. I think we did Sank in the morning, and then in the afternoon we literally we got the Christmas tree up, and then Kate was decorating the Christmas tree, because we have a good quality sort of fake Christmas tree every year. We picked it up sort of like in January about 3-4 years ago as like an ex John Lewis one, in their sale. So got it good quality, but got it cheap. But we literally, I think me and Molly sat for about 6 hours doing Lego.
Right.
So we sat for about 6 hours doing Lego. The wine was pouring. Kate was doing the Christmas tree. The Christmas movies were on, and it was just nice. So I'm fully fested it up, and I can't wait for the day.
Nice, awesome. No, I must admit, it is kind of one of those things. It is that kind of, Christmas suddenly kind of just creeps up on you, and then suddenly it's Christmas. You start, but having that weekend where you are making the house festive, I'm going to be like making mince pies, I'm going to be doing all that. It just is really lovely. It's just a really kind of, it really does just kind of warm the cockles and kind of gets you in the mood. Speaking of getting in the mood, Stu, what have you been playing this week?
Oh, I've unfortunately, I'm a bittersweet,
and it really has got you in a mood, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has got me in a mood. I'm sort of like, I've sort of I've peaked. I've peaked before Christmas. I've taken Luigi's Mansion. I've picked up the proverbial tin can, and I've thrown it down in shame, as this is not my game of the year, Mr. Thomas. My game of the year is Fallen Order.
Right.
I've really.
So you've rolled credits now.
I've rolled credits tonight. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil it. I didn't know the ending.
Right.
And I got really annoyed because I think it was Xbox UK put out a tweet this week, or a Facebook post this week, which basically gave the ending away.
Yes.
Because I didn't know nothing about the ending, and they gave it away. So I knew I was getting close to it because certain things were happening.
Yeah.
But I just love the game. I haven't steamrolled through it. I've got to the end with about I think I looked before we came onto pod. I think I've got 4 chests to find and 2 secrets.
Right.
And that's it. Then I've 100% of the whole game. So
That's good
I've
going.
sort of like taken my time. Yeah, I've sort of taken my time. I've gone back to planets where maybe I could have got onto another one. But yeah, everything about it I've just really enjoy. I enjoy the combat. I enjoy as you get the different forces. I enjoy those little sort of things where I don't know, you're sort of climbing up somewhere or down somewhere, and all of a sudden you see a glint in the corner, and you think, "Oh, what's that?" And you go around the corner, and it's a case or a sense or something like that. But yeah, it's sort of bittersweet because I sort of rolled credits on it today because I've been off for 2 days, and yeah, a bit like you really when you weren't feeling well. Rolled credits on it, and I'm sort of sitting here now going, I'm a bit down. You know, I want to play it again. I don't know whether I'll go through and play it again. I know I've got some more chests to find, but some of those I've had to do a couple of wikis or YouTube videos for a few of them because some of them were like, I cannot find that for love nor money.
Yeah.
Someone show me where it is. But I love it. It is without shadow of doubt my game of the year.
Yeah.
Just down to playability, down to just the sheer amount of time I could spend it, and every single minute of it I enjoyed. Nothing was taxing, nothing was hard. I just love it. Absolutely loved it.
What difficulty were you playing on? Because I had to kind of chop and change my difficulty. A couple of bosses, I had to kind of take it down to the easy mode, like story mode, because I was getting my clock cleaned quite a lot. And so I think especially towards the end, I think there was a couple of bosses towards the end that were really kind of fine. I was finding quite challenging, so I had to kind of take it down. What were you doing? Did you go Jedi Knight all the way through, or? I
went through sort of. I started off at the mid level. I can't think what it's called now. I started off at the mid level, and then I got to. I think I got to the second sort of boss fight of the person, and I was getting my behind kicked, and that was the first time I started watching a couple of YouTube videos. So I don't know how I'm going to beat this person, and then I learned exactly what was going to happen. And I thought, I'm not enjoying this. I'm not enjoying it being so hard, and I know. Listening to some other podcasts online, a few other people have been sort of the same. So a few times, I put it down to story mode, and I stepped it back up again when I was sort of fighting stormtroopers and things like that. But then, I would generally, you knew when a boss fight was coming up, and then I stepped it back down again. But I did go through and sort of like I farmed a few areas to get my skill points up.
Right.
So I think finishing the game, I've only got to unlock two skills in the tree, and then I've got a whole tree.
That's really good. That's really good going.
But it was funny because when you meet. I think it's not giving anything away, but when you go into the ice caves for the first time, it's the first time you meet a big monster, a big sort of like creature, and it's really hard to beat. Now, if I go back down to that same area and that creature has respawned, I think I can take it out with 2 hits.
Yeah.
So it's really nice the way that you feel that as you progress through this game, you're getting more powerful, you're unlocking more of your forces, and the storyline is brilliant. I mean, towards the end, when you sort of start to learn about things and all this lot, my mouth was sort of like wide open. You're sort of like, oh, okay, I get it. I get where this is going. And, but yeah, it's, I had to step it back, but I've got no shame in that. No. I played it for the story, and I might go through and play it again and do it on a harder setting. But for me, the story was just as important as doing the game and unlocking all the achievements.
No, I think genuinely that game is a tough game. I mean, people do compare it to like Dark Souls and stuff like that, and I genuinely think that it is. I've never played a Dark Souls game, but it is tricky. It's all about the parry. It's all about using those Jedi powers. And I think the moment you get the pull and the push, things become a little bit easier. But before that, it is tricky. It really is tricky. I mean, I would love a New Game Plus now, kind of similar to Spider-Man. So when Spider-Man came out, like once I kind of went through Spider-Man, I wanted to play that again, but with all the powers that I have now. So, because like the Jedi that you are, or the person that the Cal Custis that you are when you start to where you are at the end, is a completely different character. So I'd love to just replay that entire story, but now maybe up the difficulty, but with all of my powers. And I think that's what kind of New Game Plus gives you. And I really would like to do that. Maybe that's going to happen. I kind of feel that the story finished in a way that it kind of would allow for a sequel or DLC, and I just really liked it. I mean, I don't think we talked enough about it last time we potted. I think because I was sick. I was listening back to that pod and I was like, oh my god, I was so ill. But I really enjoyed that game. And I've since then I've picked it up every now and then. I just pick it up because I've got some achievements still to unlock. Like there's one achievement where you have to get like I don't know what the creature's name is, like Ungo Bongo or something, like on Bongo. You have to kind of get his tongue, and so you have to like cut his tongue. So you have to like hold it, use the force to hold it, and then just kind of take his tongue out or pull the tongue out, in Luigi's Mansion style. And I really enjoyed that. It was like, right, you got to do that. So I had to first find where that character is, because that world that you land is quite a bit of a maze and you have to almost work your way around to get there. And I also remembered that last time I went to that world, there were some areas that I couldn't get to, which I could probably get to now. I can probably kind of do double jump, do whatever, and get to those. So I was just like, oh, this is great. I'm now kind of landing back on the worlds, mopping up some achievements, but also just, like as you were saying, just finding some chests, finding some new ponchos, and finding areas that I hadn't gone to before. And I think also the game does a great thing of when you do go back to some of the worlds, they're now kind of populated with stormtroopers. So where before stormtroopers maybe weren't in that world, now you're actually kind of going back and you're seeing stormtroopers, and you can then, so you're never just kind of like just puzzling it and traversing the environment. You've actually got stormtroopers that you can kind of take out, and now that you're badass, you can do some really funny stuff with them as well. I just really like that the game's kind of given me that ability to just go back and do that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when you go off the first planet and then you go to the second planet, you sort of the storyline takes you off to the next planet. But I went back to the first planet, so I went back there and then mopped up some achievements. I think at that point I got the second force, so I managed to unlock one of the extra things that you could do in the game without giving anything away. And but then you're right, because then I went off, but when I left that planet again, there were still bits that were red, and you're like, okay, well, why can't I get through that? And all the way to the end, right to the end, there were still a few areas that were red, and I'm like, okay, I've run credits, I've got everything. Why can't I find that? And then you think, well, okay, that's probably a door I can't get through, so there must be a way around it. And today I went back to this planet. I went straight to this bit I couldn't get to, and I'm like, okay, there's got to be a way around this. And I took about 5-10 minutes, and all of a sudden you turn left. And because you've never had to turn left before, because you've generally gone straight on, you notice on the left there's a little crack. You crawl through this little crack, and then you climb along this wall, and then all of a sudden you're in this other area where there's a chest and where there's a couple of more stormtroopers, and then you've 100% searched that whole planet. And that's what I love about it, is as you say, you can go back and you can unlock characters. I mean, there was one in a similar way of chopping the tongue off the creature, because I did that this afternoon. There's one where you've got to kick back this, I can't remember what to call it, it's this sort of horse type creature which has got a big horn on the front of it.
Yes.
And you've got to let it kick you, and then you've then got to kick it back.
Right.
And I was watching a YouTube video of a guy trying to do it, and you've basically just got to dance around the back of this horse until it kicks you, like in a donkey style, like a mule style. And I just love those little bits and pieces. And I could see me going back, maybe not straight away, but going back over Christmas. The same with Gears of War, Gears 5, going back and unlocking some of those achievements. I think that's what my Christmas is going to be this year. I think I might try and finish, I am going to finish Control off because that was brilliant when I was playing it, and I'm about halfway through that. But Modern Warfare, Gears, and Fallen Order, I think, are my 3 games I'm going to go back and have a play with and just try and drive down those achievements a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, I would absolutely love more of this because I must admit, one character that I really did like was Grizz, the pilot. He was fantastic, and animated so well. There was someone, I was just trying to find it, there was someone in Battlefront 2, Battlefront 2 in the story mode. There was your kind of sidekick there, was amazing and standout. And in Fallen Order, Grizz really was that kind of standout as well as obviously BD1 as well, which was he was awesome. I just loved the characters, so I really want to just I want more in this world, and I'm still waiting for that patch as well, just to kind of see if that's improved, maybe some textures and things like that, because it's not without its flaws, but it is just such a good romp through a Star Wars universe, and it really does make you feel like a Jedi, and just going to all of those different planets is just absolutely superb. It's just really good. It's really good.
And what I did like about Grizz was the character was really good, but I don't know whether it's part of the pre-discerned storyline, but I can't see it was, because there was one bit, I'm sure I could get there before, but I just missed it and then went off the planet. And then I think then the storyline was taking me to Darthmore. Is it Darthmore? The red planet.
Oh, yeah.
The storyline was taking me there, but when we got back in the plane, Grizz turned around to me and said, "Oh, maybe we should head back to blah, 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 because I hear there's a lot of loot in that retracted."
Right.
And I went back to one of the I think it was the second planet where this thing had crashed, and I'd missed a whole massive section of this level. And I think it was unlocked for me before. I just didn't go through it. It was one of those funny different colour stripy things.
Yes.
And I went through, and I spent a good hour in there. Finding more echoes, finding more chests. But I don't know whether it was because I hadn't been there or it was a predefined storyline. I couldn't quite work it out. But if it wasn't, that was brilliant. If it was the character saying, "Oh, maybe you need to go back here first before you go there,"
yes,
that's brilliant. But you're right. I'd like to go back into it, fully Jedi'd up. Go back in, start again with a clean slate, and just go through the storyline again, but with all my powers now, because I think that could be a very good romp.
Absolutely. I think one of my favourite things in this game, and I was always made sure that I was there when it happened, was when you take off from a planet. So when you take off from a planet, as you take up, you kind of, from the cockpit floor and all around the cockpit, you can see the planet kind of disappearing.
Yeah.
And there was just something about that every time. Whenever it was like, "Are you ready to move? Are you ready to go?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm ready." And I just made sure I was there. I made sure I was right in the cockpit, just there waiting for this. And there was something really pleasing about that whole, you really felt like you were lifting off and then kind of going to another planet. So I just because that could have just been something very kind of mundane that they did, but and it's different for every planet. It really is that kind of landscape, and I just thought that they really hit it spot on there. It felt absolutely superb.
It could have been a loading screen, and you knew that that's what they were doing, because at some points it got a bit slow and a bit juddery. But yeah, you're right. Where it jumped into hyperspace or hyperspeed was just like them being in the Millennium Falcon in watching Star Wars. So, but no, definitely. Brilliant game. I recommend. It'd be great if they could do a patch for it for the graphics, but they didn't spoil it for me. That I had that one glitch at the beginning, which we talked about in the last pod, but I had no other glitches like the one you had where you lost the complete floor and all the stormtroopers were standing in midair. I had nothing like that. So maybe they've done maybe that other patch did land and that's done something for it since. But anybody who is thinking about buying it, buy it, because it is a really good game. Especially if you like Star Wars, especially a great game over Christmas.
Yeah.
I give it 2 thumbs up, definitely. So, but what have you been playing anyway, apart from finishing off Fallen Order?
Well, so like I say, I kind of jumped back in, kind of got a couple of achievements on Fallen Order. But for me, the main game that I've been playing, I'm still finishing off Luigi's Mansion 3. But for me, the main game that I've been playing, most of my gaming has been Pokemon Sword. And I think I started playing it last pod. I think I mentioned it past last pod. I don't know, because I was just high on paracetamols, probably.
You did.
And
yes,
honey
you
and
did.
lemon. It's got its hooks into me. So I'm now past the 3rd gym. So I've just done the fire gym. So I've got my team. I've been switching some of them out because I'm just not quite happy with them. But I've managed to kind of get a team of Pokemon that I really like now. So I've got the fire gym was almost kind of no problem at all. The one before that, which I think was I think it might be the rock, or it might have been, I don't know, grass type, but there was one that kind of took me a couple of times. I died a couple of times and I had to restart. But the fire gym had no problems at all, because I think I had the right set of Pokemon for that. So, and it's really good. I'm starting to level them all up. Most of them are about level 30, I think, at the moment. So I'm really kind of, I'm finding it easier now when I'm walking through the big open areas in between towns. I can now start kind of collecting some more Pokemon and stuff like that. And this game it's really kind of like getting hooks in me. But the problem that I have right now is I've got a couple of games that I really want to play before the end of the year. I want to play Outer Wilds. Halo Reach came to the Master Chief Collection today. Now I just got a ping. Just as I was walking up the stairs, I got a ping saying that Halo Reach is now in the Master Chief Collection from the Game Pass app. So that's kind of updating as I speak. But I was just like, I've got that. I want to play Halo Reach again. I want to play Outer Wilds. I want to finish Luigi's Mansion. So I'm thinking about parking Pokemon Sword. So I got to a place where I was just about to get to a big town. I'm halfway through the map. So if you think of the map as your kind of Route 1 is right at the bottom, but all the way at the top of the map, I think is like Route 10. So I'm at like Route 5, Route 6. So I'm midway of this game. And I just thought, you know what? In February, I've got a lot of flights. I've got flights. I've got like 20 hours of flights, for me. And I could just spend a big chunk of time playing Pokemon Sword on the plane or while I'm on holiday. So, because that's what I did last year. When I went to the US last year, I played Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. So I was thinking, what I might do, if I can, is kind of like stop playing Pokemon now where I am, and then just kind of pick that back up at the start of February. It's only like a couple of months to then kind of continue going, and that gives me the time to then play, finish off Luigi's Mansion, and like I say, play Outer Wilds and Borderlands. And also, last night I showed Nicola a trailer of got a press release came through, which was for a game called Tools Up, Tools Up is basically Overcooked meets DIY. So it's got a very similar art style to that Moving Out that we saw at EGX.
Yeah.
It's got a very similar art style to Moving, but it's basically Overcooked meets DIY. So you have to like paint walls, knock down walls, move furniture. 2 people have to move furniture. So the stupid idiot that I am, I showed Nicola, I was like, look at this, look, it's called Tools Up, and she was like, yes, we need to get that. So it came out today on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch and PC. It was only £16, so, and I had a whole bunch of quests that I've been turning in, so I managed to get like £5 off of it. So even if it's a dud, I'll report more next week if I'm not crying because Nicola's shouting at me. But even if it's a dud, it was like an £11 kind of, because I haven't seen any reviews or anything like that. But even if it's a dud, it's only like £11 that I've kind of put into it. So, so it's called Tools Out, and like I say, it's available on all platforms, and hopefully I'll have a bit more of a discussion about it next week. So that's kind of Pokemon Sword. Really enjoying Pokemon Sword. Apart from the guy who you're kind of with, your mate Hop is Oh God, he's so annoying. Every time he appears, I just want to punch him. I wish there was just a punch button. He turns up and he's like, because he's always got the badge before you. Do you know what I mean? He always he'll come out of the stadium and go, "Oh, I've just got my fire badge. You should try and get it too." And I just want to punch him. I just want every time. He's just like, and then he goes, "Oh, look what I have." Yeah. He's like, look at me. He goes, "My Pokemon are so strong." And then I just beat him. I just want to wipe the floor with just one character. And then I just feel really good about myself. And then so I just apart from wanting to punch Hop all the time, this game, it's really good. It's really kind of, I finished Let's Go Pikachu. So this is kind of like the next kind of Pokemon that I really want to complete, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm constantly baffled by all these new Pokemon because for me, the great thing about Let's Go Pikachu was that I knew all of those Pokemon. They were the Pokemon that I knew. These ones are just weird, random things. One of them the other day, it was like an apple with eyes, but when he turned round, there was like a worm in the apple, and I was just like, what the hell is this? I just kind of keep on catching them so I can have a closer look at them. But there's some really bonkers Pokemon. But like I say, I'm really enjoying it. But I kind of want to I was thinking, because February, I don't think there's any big Switch games coming out at the start of February. So I can't think of any. And so Nicola was like, what am I going to play on the plane? And I was trying to think about, she doesn't like Pokemon, but she was like, I was trying to think what to get Nicola for the Switch, for the plane. But I was just thinking, when she asked that, I was thinking, maybe I should play this, maybe I should play Pokemon on the plane. So I'm going to park it for my holiday, and if I can, because like I say, I keep wanting to just pick it back up again, but I'm going to park it for my holiday and hopefully just kind of finish it off while I'm away. And then
has she been playing Luigi's Mansion? She has.
Yeah, she's up to floor 13, so she's playing that right now and very close to finishing it. So yes. I think she's up to floor 13. I think there's only about 15 floors or 14 floors on the boss level. So she's like kind of very close to kind of finishing that. So I've got to have a bit of a, right. I'm hoping maybe there'll be a couple of indie games out in February that might be able to, otherwise she'll just play Overcooked on her Switch. She's got both of them on her Switch. So she'll just play that on the plane.
I'm just having a look. Just having a look now, and February, Mega Man Zero looks like that's the only game. You've got One Punch Man, Marvel's Iron Man, Mega Man, Street Fighter 5, Darksiders, Ori and the Will o' the Wisps. That's it. So there's only Darksiders Genesis is the only other one coming out on Switch. So two games, that's it.
Darksiders Genesis is a potential. Because Darksiders is really good. Darksiders 3 is now on Game Pass. If anyone's got Game Pass, it's now on Game Pass. So but yeah, so that's kind of my time with Pokemon Sword. Like I said, I'm really enjoying it. Halfway through, thinking about, next week I'll probably just go, I've been playing Pokemon Sword because I can't put it down. But that's my intention right now, is to kind of do that. And then the other game I've been playing, so I've gone back to Forza Horizon for 3 reasons actually. I've gone back to Forza Horizon 4. 1, because it's autumn and that game looks gorgeous in autumn. Looks absolutely stunning. 2, because there's loads of stories that I haven't finished. I didn't finish Alicia's Taxis or the Upgrade Heroes, I think it's called, and the Top Gear. Yeah. So I've been kind of going back and doing those in autumn. But also because I noticed on the Xbox Game Pass app, they've been doing daily quests. So they've been doing daily and weekly quests, and a lot of the daily and weekly quests are play a Game Pass game, get an achievement in a Game Pass game, and so every day you kind of get these. So I've just been kind of, like I say, whenever I've had an hour or half an hour, it's so easy to just kind of jump into Forza Horizon, and have a quick go, do a story, do something like that. So over the weekend, while I didn't have a lot of time to game because we were doing stuff, but I could just jump in for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and just kind of have a quick go of Forza Horizon, do a couple of those stories, get a couple of quests. I was really racking up the quests, and and then just kind of being able to just kind of step away. So I've just been really enjoying kind of going back to Forza Horizon, and it just kind of made me feel, I'm obviously missing a Forza game because probably this time of year is my Sunday morning breakfast, coffee, and I'm playing a Forza game. So, and this Sunday I was downstairs with my breakfast, with a cup of coffee playing a Forza game. So, I think I just do miss it, but there's so much content in there because once the Lego expansion came out, I spent a lot of time in the Lego world, and I forgot about going back to the mainland. And I went back to the mainland, and it was like,
same here.
Here's a story. Oh, you haven't finished this one. And then I started looking at the achievements as well, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can get those achievements. I can get that achievement. And I'm still chasing my Forza-thon achievement as well, of doing like 20 Forza-thons. So I think I've got about 3 left to go. I'm at 85%. So I've probably got about 3 left to go. That probably equates to about 3, but I'm just absolutely loving it. Again, it's on Game Pass, so, kind of if you have Xbox and have Game Pass, then kind of jump into it and kind of check it out, because it just continues to kind of just wow me. And like I say, Autumn just looks stunning in that game.
No, I did jump back into it on xCloud, just to fire that up and have a bit of a play on it. But and although I couldn't play it that successfully at home, when it loads up the maps for the first time, it says, it's autumn and this and this and this and this. And then I went back into the map, and then the voiceover come up and said, oh, why don't you go and meet such and such here and do this and then do this and do this and do this. And it's one of those things I do keep on thinking, I need to go back in there and spend a Sunday morning. Maybe now, probably because I've rolled credits on Fallen Order, that was sort of like, that was taking over my life just recently, because that was like, I literally was, I think, today I popped into town, got some shopping, came back, did a few exercises to stretch an injury I've got, and then played it, then had some lunch, played it, then took the dog for a walk, and I'm thinking, okay, Kate's going to be home soon, so I'll get dinner going. Actually, I think I've got about 45 minutes. Switch it back on again, play it. And of course, that's what's great about the Xbox, is you can go and meditate and save it, then you can switch to console, come back, and then just go straight back into where you were. It's almost like you had just paused it. But with Forza, I think I'll probably go back into it, because I think there's a lot in there that I haven't played and finished off like yourself. So, but it's a great game. I can't wait for Motorsport next one to come out, hopefully with the new console, and then another Horizon down the line. But yeah, there's not really much in the way of driving games around at the moment.
No, absolutely. I mean, so like I say, Forza Horizon kind of really ticking that box. I think the only other game worth mentioning, and again, it was one of those ones where I was just kind of bouncing around. I think after we podded last time, I spent that weekend, I was still sick. That weekend, so I spent a long time kind of still on the sofa. And I was playing the train set game. So there's a game called,
I saw that.
There's a game called Tracks on Game Pass again, and it's called Tracks, the train set game, and it's really, I mean, it gives out like about 250 achievements just going through the tutorial, and it's just like, so it keeps popping these Chivos quite a lot, which I loved. But it's just really cool. You just basically have an area which can be blank. You can choose different vistas. You can be snowy. You can do whatever. And then you just build a train track. And then you get to like drive. Then you get to kind of use it. And you go in almost in first person mode. And then you get to kind of drive the train around it. So you can see if you've done maybe too tight a turns, because your train would just fall off and things like that. But it's really good. There's like an achievement for putting down 10 pieces of decoration. So I just basically like made this little train stop, and I put like a post box and some trees. I was like, bing, there's 100 achievements. I was like, thank you very much.
Wow.
It was just really good, but it was really kind of simple. It kind of took me back to kind of, when I was a wee lad. And it just took me back just to kind of like building train sets and things like that. And it was really fun. It was a really innocent moment that I spent with Tracks, the train set game. But like I say, it really kind of, I'll wait and see if there's another quest that makes you play that game, and then kind of get some more of the achievements, because they're quite easy, they're quite obtainable.
No, I'll have to have a look at that, because there's a channel I subscribe to on YouTube, and every time I go onto YouTube on the Apple TV to watch, some running or gaming or something like that, there's a guy on there who does walkthroughs, because he did a walkthrough of like the Modern Warfare, like the London scene where you go to unlock the achievements and that lot, and he's done a full walkthrough of all the achievements of the train track game.
Wow.
And it's just like, I just fancy sitting down and watching him play it with a glass of wine, because it's probably quite meditational.
It really is. It's just like, it's just like, ride the train off the edge of the world, 100 points. Finish the tutorial, 100 points. Save a file containing 100 pieces of track, 100 points. Deliver your first passenger,
nice.
100 points. It's just like that. And it's like, finish every objective in passenger mode, 200. And that's still rare, so that might be tricky. But, visit every environment, again, 100 points. It's just like, it's one of those games where it's like, it's a good game. It's solid. It's fun. It's, as you say, it's just very relaxing. It's very, very zen. But at the same time, they're like, if we put loads of really easy achievements, more people are going to play it. And because I'm sure when Phil's looking at the things the games that are downloading from Game Pass, he's probably looking at how many they've downloaded and how long people have been playing it. Because if you like fire up a game, like I did the other day, Wesperados, I fired up Wesperados and, quickly just kind of closed that down because that wasn't for me. But then I played Enter the Gungeon, and that game is awesome. That game needs some proper kind of time, because that was a fun, it kind of almost gave me the same pangs that I got with things like Slay the Spire or what was the other one that I played early this year and really liked? The one where you were just ahead to start off with.
Oh, Headliners?
No. No, it's not that one. I know the one you're thinking of, but it's not that one. It's
not
Dead
that
Cells.
One, no. Okay.
Dead Cells.
Right, okay.
It gave me kind of Dead Cells vibes, so I was like, "Oh, hello!" This could be a good game. So that was Enter the Gungeon again. Game Pass, it just keeps giving,
keeps on giving.
But there you go. That's all the games that I've been playing over the last couple of weeks. Anything else for you, Stu?
Not really. No, as I say, I've pretty much been head deep into Fallen Order. Sad that's out the way, but on the flip side, I'm always glad that's out the way, because now I can go back into. I might jump back into Afterlife, because I've played about the first hour of that, and I really like the look of that. So I'm going to jump back into that. So I actually might spend the next. I'm sort of super busy at work trying to wrap things up for Christmas, or get everything to a stage where I can wrap it up for Christmas. So I think at the moment I'm going to be just dipping in and out of some easy things, doing some daily quests, because I've been racking up the points with that. And then over Christmas I might jump back into Control or something like that. So hopefully the next time I'm on, I'll have a few more sort of like Game Pass sort of little boutique games to talk about.
And also, if you're looking for games over Christmas, Jurassic Park Evolution has just come into Games with Gold, and also Titanfall 2 has just come over onto PS Plus.
Oh, nice! I like Titanfall.
Yeah, so I think Jurassic World Evolution comes later on this December, just in time for kind of just after Christmas, and that's a fantastic game. Both James and I were playing that and loved it. And they've also brought out Jurassic Park DLC for that, but also Titanfall 2 is now out on PlayStation on PS Plus. I think along with a motocross game as well. So like kind of Monster Motocross. So those two games came to PS Plus today, and obviously Xbox Games with Gold will get all of its games over the month.
Was that Jurassic Park? Was that DLC they showed before XO19?
Yes. Yes.
They gave out some badges, didn't they, at
Yes.
XO19? And then when I watched it back, I saw that Jurassic Park game. I wasn't sure what it was. I thought it was DLC. So
that's what it was. It was DLC for Evolution, which is now or will be in Games of Gold very soon.
Right. Okay, cool. Excellent. I'll look out for that.
Superb. Right, let's start the news. But before we start the news, don't forget you can rate, review, and subscribe to this very podcast for free on iTunes, Spotify, and also on YouTube. In this week's news section, Mario Maker gets a surprise update. We have a new Resident Evil has been announced, and PlayStation are celebrating 25 years. But the lead, Stu, is with you, and over to you.
Yep. So, as you forementioned, there is the headline on Nintendo Wire is Super Mario Maker 2 next update adds playable Link, classic enemies, and much, much more. So this was 2nd of December, so yesterday as we pod. Out of the blue, Nintendo UK has dropped a new trailer for Super Mario Bros. 2 next update, and it's a big one. Not only are classic enemies like Pokey and Spike being added to the game, but there's a whole new power-up for Super Mario Bros. Theme and a Master Sword. This familiar weapon will transform Mario into Link and give you access to the sword, bow and bombs, plus a variety of other moves. Pokey and Spike come with their usual array of attacks, with the former changing into snow form and the latter throwing snowballs instead of spike balls in the snowy courses. Also included in the update are frozen coins and P-blocks, not quite sure what they are, for all the courses, plus dash blocks for Super Mario 3D World courses. Lastly, a new mode called Ninja Speedruns is being added, in which players can compete to secure the fastest time on a variety of Nintendo-made courses. Hundreds of ninjas will appear on the course, acting as ghosts of other players, also like a ghosting on a racetrack. That sounds pretty cool. Clearing all the courses will reward players with stamps and Mii costume pieces. Top players will also have a trio of gold stars and circles for their Mii for the limited time. You'll be able to download Super Mario Maker's 2 major updates starting December the 5th.
Fantastic. It sounds really good. Did you watch the YouTube clip that kind of came with it?
No. I'm sitting here hovering. Annoyingly, it's sitting here now looking at it, and it's sort of like I was meaning to do it before we podded, but I ran out of time playing Star Wars.
Because the Link part of it, so you can only play that in the 8-bit Mario. So it's only kind of 8-bit Mario, and Link's got some really cool moves. He's got like a jump attack where you can basically just jump up and then sword down, which was really cool. You know, you can just kind of do that, and it looks so cool. And then if ever you come across like a fire type enemy, you can just deflect it with your shield, and it's a really nice little update. You know, it was a very surprise to see kind of Link in that update.
It's nice the way, because they're sort of crossing the platforms, aren't they? Because didn't I read that there were some Mario enemies in Link's Awakening? Was there?
Yes, there was.
Right?
But I think they were originally. But you're absolutely spot on. Yeah, there was some. Yeah.
So no, it was. I think a lot of people were surprised by it, because I think it drops out in the middle of nowhere. But it's nice. It's nice when they, the platform crosses the characters from game to game. It sort of, I think majority of people that play the Super Mario games like the Link games, the Zelda games, and to and fro. So it's nice when they can bring some characters from one game into the other, and not flood it like they do in some of the games.
Yes, absolutely. And just saying this, I mean, straight away, obviously, I kind of when they showed Link, I was like, oh my god, this is going to look great in the 3D Mario world. Obviously, that was me getting a bit greedy because it's just 8-bit. So I was just like, rein it in, Chess, and rein it in. Kind of take what you can get. But it just looks really good. It just really looks good. And like I say, I mean, the thing is obviously they've done this, and then suddenly straight away, what I'm seeing online is people are going, does this mean that we're going to get a Zelda Maker? I was watching Kind of Funny Games Daily today, and they were talking about, does this mean we're going to get, a Zelda Maker, which I know has been rumoured. Every time Mario Maker comes out, people want like a Zelda Maker, but I just kind of feel that this is just a nice, fun add-on, shows that Nintendo, as you say, are mixing up the IPs and just really having some fun with it. So it's quite nice to see Nintendo be this playful.
Well, I think although Mario Maker's been a successful, or Mario Maker 2's been a successful game for them, I think that there was some rumours going around that they were slightly sort of underwhelmed by the sales figures, and I think people were expecting a bit more from it in respects of it's been a while since it's been released and they've done any updates to it. So hopefully this puts them back on course, and there'll be a few more updates, maybe sort of Q1, Q2 next year to it.
Yes, absolutely. If this is just update 2, then what will 3 and 4 bring? Especially if this becomes popular and they can see that there's an appetite and people want to actually continue going there, because I think you're right. I think the bubble that was around Super Mario Maker was, people were going bananas with that. But Super Mario Maker 2, it seems like it very quickly became a way to torture your friends.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Matt Thomas.
You mentioned it, anybody there.
But not just Matt Evil Thomas. It was, I saw people online, the Giant Bomb guys, there was, there was someone making levels there, and it kind of almost like took the fun out of it. It wasn't like, here's a fun course. It was like, no, here's a course that I'm going to put 1 million blades and you've got to try and like jump through it. So I think maybe that kind of almost, not that we were given something lovely and we made it horrible and ruined it, but I just kind of feel that I think it kind of fell off quicker than maybe Super Mario Maker, because that was like a brand new concept and people were going bananas for kind of creating their levels. But yeah, still, it's a great game. It's an absolutely fantastic game, and it's good to see this update.
Excellent. So the next story is with you.
Absolutely, and that is that PlayStation is celebrating its 25th anniversary. Can you believe it's been 25 years ago? 25 years ago since the first PlayStation made its debut in Japan, and Jim Ryan, the president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, put out a post on the blog post this week, just basically marking this 25th anniversary and saying that all week they're going to have all their social media channels, YouTube, Twitter, they're just going to be posting lots of kind of look backs of the 25 years of PlayStation. They're also going to be having, I think today or later on today as we're podding, there's going to be a live stream where people are talking about their favourite PlayStation moments and talking about the games that kind of made them. So they're really making a moment of this. A lot of, again, kind of the kind of hype online is that there was a 20th anniversary console. There was like a 20th anniversary that kind of went straight away as it came up online. So they're hoping that maybe there'll be a 25th anniversary or some free software or new hardware or something that's going to mark this momentous and milestone that PlayStation are at the moment. So Jim Ryan has put up a blog post basically just saying kind of exactly that. They're going to have a look back over the past 25 years, and they're just going to just honor the PlayStation platform. So keep an eye on Twitter, on PlayStation's Twitter, and also on YouTube, because there's going to be some stuff up there, and maybe they'll show us some new stuff. Maybe they will kind of hint at what's going to happen over the next 25 years, and then just go. But it's just such a great moment, and one of the things that they did put up today on their Twitter, on PlayStation UK's Twitter, was, right, let's do this. And I had a thought about this just as before I came up to pod. It was like, right, what was your first PlayStation game, your first PlayStation console, your favourite PlayStation game, and your favourite PlayStation console? Now, the second two, the last two, that's a bit of a hard one for me, especially especially fresh. I don't know if I could do this without a really good think.
Yes.
But what was your first PlayStation game? Did you get the original PlayStation? Because I know you came in a bit later, didn't you, to kind of console gaming?
Yeah, to be honest, I can't remember. I think the tech side of me, yeah, definitely. I definitely got it. Probably Gran Turismo.
Right.
I would say that. I'd say definitely it was. I'm almost sure I got it when it came out, because I've always been that type of person ever since like the SNES. But that was sort of a point where I was young, and doing other things. But yeah, probably Gran Turismo, because I've always been interested in the racing game side of things. What about yourself? What was your favourite PlayStation 1 game?
Well, I think my first, I got a launch PlayStation. So I got a launch PlayStation. Yeah. I remember kind of grabbing it from my local store, when it kind of came out. I have a feeling, apart from the demo disc that it came with and the big T-Rex that you could kind of walk around, and I was blown away by that. And the kind of, on that demo disc, there was like Battle Arena Toshinden, there was Jumping Flash, there was all those kind of games. But I kind of have a feeling that Ridge Racer and Wipeout were my first games. Wipeout, so I think I bought a whole bunch, because back then you did. I think I bought NBA Jam, Ridge Racer, Wipeout, and Rayman. I'm pretty sure they were the ones that I kind of and the demo disc and the one that was on the PlayStation magazine. I think I kind of grabbed all of those and then just hibernated for a week. I remember, kind of just grabbing it. It wasn't a Friday or anything. I remember just going getting on Saturday and then coming back feeling very kind of, and I think Tekken came later. But there may have been a demo either on PlayStation magazine or on that demo disc. There may have been Tekken because I remember kind of playing as King, but definitely Wipeout. And I remember the people I was hanging around with at that point. I remember us just an entire Saturday just playing Wipeout. It was like we would do split screen and winner stays on, and it was just a constant round robbing. And I just kind of remember that. So that's kind of that was my first PlayStation was the original, Wipeout, and that demo disc I'm sure was my first games. As favourite PlayStation game and favourite PlayStation console, I just don't know. The tech, the new shiny side of me is I like the PS4 Pro. Because this is kind of where I want games to be, this shiny 4K HDR. Obviously, I never knew about 4K and HDR back then, but I always wanted the Pixar graphics. And I think my favourite PlayStation game probably needs to be a franchise, and that's Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, I go with that. I enjoyed Spider-Man. I really did enjoy Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But actually, if I think about what I was sitting playing, when I could, it was probably Ratchet and Clank, especially the latter one. Had some really good fun with that. I can remember buying the PS3. I can remember buying the PS2 and the PS3. I think now. No, definitely the PS3. I think I picked up from Tunbridge Wells, from Game in Tunbridge Wells.
Right.
So I can remember taking that. Was it? No, was it? I'm trying to think now. So one of them I can remember walking into town. I can remember walking back from the Royal Victoria Centre at like 1:30 in the morning with this shiny PlayStation console in this massive game bag, walking up the side of a park thinking, hope no one's going to rob me. But yeah, I think, but it's just when you standing there, or you sit there now talking about, demo discs, there'd be people listening to this pod going, a demo what? What do you mean a demo? They used to get a disc on the front of a magazine that you popped in, and there's a quote actually I've just gone on the link, and there's a quote on there which is from Jim Ryan, which says, "It's truly humbling to see fans who grew up with PlayStation passing down their love of games to their children who are now playing PS4."
Yeah,
and that's so right. I think as gamers, I look at Molly, and trying to get her to play the Switch a bit more and play more proper games. But yeah, there's going to be people out there who are like, they never went to they never went to WH Smith's on a Saturday morning to get the latest copy of Xbox or PlayStation magazine to get the demo disc that had 10 free games on the front of it or something like that. Now it's just there. You just get you get the demos now.
Or even just a trailer. Even just to get a trailer. I think I remember. I don't really remember the PlayStation 3 launch, even though actually I do, because I remember getting a. So the PlayStation 3 was the one that had the Spider-Man font, wasn't it? The piano-looking one.
Yeah.
So I remember getting the PlayStation 3, and I got an import PlayStation 3. And then I got it, and so I ended up getting it kind of from the US, because I think there was a quite long wait for it from the US to the European release. So I remember kind of getting it from the US, and then I remember getting it home, and it had an American plug. So I looked at it. I had a step down, which I used for other things. I remember plugging it in and the step down going bang. And then, so the PlayStation went out, and I just sat there and I almost cried because I'd spent all this money, all this time. It was stressful getting it from customs, and I plugged it in and it just went bang. And then in the end, I managed to look at the back of it and I was like, that just looks like my kettle lead. So I got the kettle lead and then just plugged that into the back of it, and it worked perfectly. And I remember getting that. PlayStation 2, vivid as hell. I can remember taking the Friday off. Both me and a friend, we had pre-ordered them from That's Entertainment in Lakeside. And I got Time Splitters, SSX, Tekken Tag Tournament, and Ready to Rumble. And we spent the weekend, we had 2 TVs in a room, and we just spent the entire, his wife had gone away, for the weekend, so we went to his house, and we just basically just played for like the entire time, and it was just fantastic. It was just we just sat there with a big old stack of games, and we just played that, and it was just absolutely superb.
Oh, it sounds amazing. They weren't small TVs as well. They were proper cathode tube TVs as well.
Absolutely.
So they were as deep as they were wide.
I remember we were dragging in the one that because I dragging in kind of it was a big old TV, and he had a low. He had one, he had one of those, and that was honestly, it was one of those ones where you had to find a corner of a room because the back just went so. Well, we sound like such old men. We're like, okay, I think the words are okay boomer right now, but it's just like but I just remember doing that. So and then obviously my PlayStation 4, loved the PlayStation 4. Like I say, the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 have given me amazing titles. Like I played Uncharted, the whole Uncharted Legacy on my PlayStation 4 because I never played it on the 3. So I had that. On the PlayStation 3, we played Last of Us. You know, there are just some, and it's really interesting because as you were saying, like Jim, you know, as they were saying on the blog post, you know, what Jim Ryan was saying about growing up, I also think that PlayStation has grown up as well, because if you look at the launch titles for those games that I've been talking about to kind of the games that we have now, you know, they are kind of grown up. You know, we really have, you know, towards the back end of PlayStation 3, we started getting, you know, Shadow of the Colossus and Eco and things like that. But it really does feel like, you know, if you look at the games that we got as launch titles for PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 compared to what we're getting now, it just is, I think we've all grown up with it, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I think favourite console, I still say favourite console's 4, but favourite game is Ratchet and Clank. You know, whether it's Ratchet and Clank, you know, Up Your Arsenal, Cracking Time, whatever one it is. I just remember playing that with William, my nephew, you know, playing it with Nicola, you know, kind of just really enjoying it. And then the last one that came out was that one where it's like, they've done it. You know, they've made a game look like a Pixar movie. And I think, but Ratchet and Clank with all their guns, with all the kind of puzzle solving and the fun and the kind of silly jokes, I just really think that that's kind of one. If I look at PlayStation, I think I see Ratchet and Clank.
I think that when you look back at gaming, I think, okay, you don't know what's coming. I mean, at the moment, all what we're getting with new consoles is just quicker, faster, sexier graphics, you know, higher frame rate, you know, more pixels on the screen. But when you look back at, you know, from the late teens when we were, and you were like NES and SNES, and those graphical jumps that came up. I know a lot of people have said it before, but you know, the graphical jumps that came up where we went from 2D to 3D, and you know, and you had these massive wow moments, and it's the same with other technology, the phones and everything. You had these massive wow technology, and it will be interesting looking forward into the next 25 years what that next wow is. What can it be? Because I can't think of what that next wow is going to be. You know, they've tried VR, and although that's hanging on in there, you know, that's not the wow that it was. But you look back to the PS1, the Xbox, the original Xbox, and they were sort of seminal consoles, and brought the war to Sega and Nintendo. And unfortunately, Sega fell to the wayside, and it's created some really good consoles and some really good games over the last 25 years.
Absolutely, it's really interesting. You know, I was talking about the kind of the difference between the European and American launch. So, yeah, PlayStation 3, it came out the 17th of November 2006. 13 years ago, in the US. So it came out November the 11th in Japan. It came out the 17th of November in the US, March 23rd. So no wonder I imported mine. March 23rd. That's 4 months, you know, and change.
That's Mandalorian territory.
That is exactly what I was going to say. That's Disney Plus. Oh my God, that's a good show. I haven't watched any yet.
I
just cannot get over how good. We're 4 chapters in now. We're halfway through. So we're halfway through because The Mandalorian's 8 chapters. And I just cannot get over how good that show is, how good the character of The Mandalorian is, and obviously, you know, I think the world is in love with Baby Yoda. I think there's not a day that you go...
Don't spoil it. I don't know nothing about Baby Yoda.
Of course you do. You can't go through Twitter. We can't go through my Twitter without seeing Baby Yoda. Everybody knows who Baby Yoda is. Even my brother...
That's why I blocked you.
Even my brother-in-law the other day, he was like, Baby Yoda. And I was just like, oh, let me tell you about Baby Yoda. And it was just like, Jimmy Fallon saying, Baby Yoda will right the world. He will bring balance to the world because... And the great thing about Baby Yoda is that they actually, at one point, they were going to do him CGI. But,
oh, really?
But they decided the chap who was in it, one of the actors who is in Mandalorian, whose name I will get just a moment. By all accounts, he's a big director. He's a director as well, and his name is Werner Herzog. So he plays the client in the Mandalorian, and so he had to act with Baby Yoda, and they had this stand-in puppet, and they said, "Oh, we're going to CGI it," and he actually called them cowards. He was like, "No, keep that puppet in because." It's amazing. And honestly, Nicola and I just sit there on a Friday night watching The Mandalorian, and I think we're both just going to just implode with cuteness because Baby Yoda is just amazing. It's just, it's so good. I love The Mandalorian so much. It's very cool.
Here's a pop quiz for you. I watched the first 15 minutes of the first episode before I had some sort of streaming issues in the house.
Yeah.
So, pop quiz for you. In the very first episode, they get into a speedster right at the beginning.
Yes.
Who was the speeder pilot?
He was the rock guy from Big Bang Theory.
Ah, you're such a geek.
Yes. Thank you very much.
As soon as I saw him, I went, "That's Bert from Big Bang Theory."
I thought you was going to ask me what the Astromess droid was, and I was like, "That's an R4D5." But anyway, right, let's move on. Stu, next piece of news, sir, is with you.
Yeah, let's move on. So yes, my next right. So here we go. Compose myself. News story number 3, I'll get it right in a second. A 2007 Call of Duty iconic map returns to 2019's Modern Warfare.
Ooh.
So this was from a website. I can't see what website it was. Oh, GameSpot. There you go. This was from GameSpot. So one of the most iconic maps of 2007's Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Crash is being remade for the new Modern Warfare.
Oh, wow.
Crash is coming to the new game in the Season 1 update on the December 3rd, so today as we pod. And now the new gameplay footage gameplay footage from it has emerged online. YouTuber Attach posted a video of the new map, and it looks pretty much exactly like it did back in 2007, except with better looking graphics. Obviously, and one relatively small change to the map itself. There is a new back alley section of the map, but that appears to be the only noticeable addition. Curiously, Attach said he was informed by Infinity Ward developers that he wasn't allowed to use the attack copter kill streak because it could cause some match glitches, but he's hoping this will be sorted out by the public release. Crash is one of the maps coming to Modern Warfare in Season 1 update. Some of the others include Vacant and Shipment. There were also fan favourites in the original game, and Season 1 updates also includes new modes, weapons, blueprints, and much, much more. In addition to Season 1 update, December 3rd marks the start of Modern Warfare's first Battle Pass. So just like Fortnite, players will progress through tiers, of which there are 100, earning new cosmetic items and more ways to play. So some new maps coming to Modern Warfare. The only thing I was a bit disappointed. Again, there's no additions to single player.
Right.
Creates probably more work to do single player, but it just seems to be there's a lot of updates to the multiplayer side of it, but nothing to the single player side of it.
Right, but didn't they say that when you finish the campaign, don't they say that the story continues in Spec Ops?
In Spec Ops, but you have to play with other people, don't you? So you've got to get a crew, or you've like we said about jumping and doing it. You've got to get another person, time in the diary to do it.
Yeah.
Or you jump in with some randos, and I think it was I want to say Ryan McCaffrey, but I remember listening to one podcast, I think it was Ryan, he said he jumped into it with a bunch of randos, and you can revive your teammates in it. And he was down, and he was sort of doing the old come and save me, and one of his teammates come up to him, looked at him, stole his gun and run away.
Are you sure that wasn't me?
So
that's what happened to me.
Yeah, probably.
It was me, not Ryan McCaffrey. I know we've got similar facial features, but no, it's just no, that was because that's what happened to me. I jumped into Spec Ops when I finished it. I think it was the one where I was podding with Steve, and I was just and that was it. I was just literally crawling towards them, and they just took my stuff.
I'm getting my podcast confused.
Yeah, it's all just they all blur into one. Hey, if I get mistaken for Ryan Caffrey's silky smooth podcast voice, that's fine with me.
But that's it. The problem is that you are reliant on others, and as of yet, I haven't played with a team of randos that really conform, or everybody's on mic or anything like that. So you are reliant on playing with your friends. But hey, they have to make the money to make the next game. So if this keeps the games coming and they are the same quality of this year's game, then I'm all up for it.
Absolutely. I mean, we typically have never really got a single player DLC for COD, have we? We've never had an edition, but more Spec Ops might be good. Maybe over Christmas when you have your 2 months off, maybe we can kind of jump in and kind of have maybe have like an evening, kind of a bit of a session and just kind of jump in and give it a bit of a kick so we can see what it's like. Because I understand from, I think, Giant Bomb podcast that they were saying that it's a bit broken at the moment. But, with patches coming out and things like that, maybe they're kind of fixing it. And we can just lock it down, can't we, to just the two of us? Or if we can fill it with other on-mic people, that would be awesome. But we can just have a private room and invite people who we kind of either know or know is going to be on mics, which is fantastic. Superb, but it's good that they're bringing more maps. I'm sure they're going to, because all these updates are free, aren't they? They're not charging. I believe so. Yes, they're not charging you for DLC, are they? This year, it's just cosmetics.
It doesn't say they're charging you for DLC, so I don't think so. I'm not sure if I click on the break. Not sure. They're 100 tier users unlocked, 20 plus of which are free for everyone. So there's 100 tiers to unlock, 20 plus are free for everyone. These tiers are unlocked by multiplayer or Spec Ops. Alternative players can spend 1,000 Call of Duty points, $10 to unlock the additional tiers of them, of all of them at once. It costs 150 Call of Duty points, $1.50 to unlock tiers one by one, which works out $150 to buy them all individually.
Right.
So 20 are, but the rest are locked.
So maps are free, cosmetics aren't.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good.
I had to sneeze. So it looks as if they sort of tempt you in, and if you want to go any further, then but $1.50 isn't exactly a huge amount. So
no, that's really good because it doesn't break the player base, does it? It doesn't. It keeps everybody kind of using the same map, so you don't have your the little Johnny who doesn't have the new awesome Call of Duty map.
Yeah, definitely. It's we'll definitely have to jump in. It's that classic case. It's that classic case at the moment where I actually am in a position where I could just stop for Christmas now because I've had a really good last 6 months.
Yeah.
But my clients want me, so I'm having to work to like the weekend before Christmas. So, but I think my body is ready to stop and start playing games now.
Yes.
So I can't wait. But but anyway, we digress. The next story is back over with you, my friend.
Absolutely, and the final news story this evening is that Resi 3 remake has been leaked. So up on the old PlayStation network, they have leaked screenshots from or cover art from Resident Evil 3 remake. So it looks like this Resident Evil 3 remake has leaked ahead of its official announcement from Capcom. This was an article that was up on Eurogamer this morning and said the cover art, which Eurogamer sources have confirmed to be real, was spotted on GameStat. It was also spotted on the PlayStation Network a bit later because GameStat tracks the PlayStation Network. So when anything's added, GameStat kind of gets a ping. So it's almost like following it on an RSS feed. And they saw the cover art for the Japanese and international versions of Resident Evil 3 Remake. So this shows a very kind of a new look for Jill Valentine and Carlos Oliveira. They've both got kind of a new kind of refreshed look. So this is very much kind of following the Resident Evil 2 remake style. So they obviously Resident Evil 2 was so well received, and I absolutely loved it until Mr. X turned up, and then I stopped playing it. But Biohazard 3, or Resident Evil 3 as it's known in the UK, looks like it's going to be getting a 2020 launch, and obviously we are 9 days away from the Game Awards, which is on the 13th of December. 13th. So, was that a case that they were going to launch that at the Game Awards? I hope they keep it. I hope Capcom don't just kind of go, well, here you go. We've been found out, so here you go. I hope that the person who put it up on the PSN gets a bit of a wrist slap, and B, Capcom kind of save that trailer for the Game Awards, because it's always the thing I love about the Game Awards are all those kind of exclusive trailers and all of the exclusive trailers and all of the new announcements that we get. So they're already teasing that potentially there could be a new one from a Microsoft first party studio as well. So it just kind of starts building the hype. So I hope Capcom, even though they've been found out and people now know that Resident Evil 3 is being remade, I just really hope that they kind of, if they were doing it for the Game Awards, they save it for that.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the artwork on Eurogamer, it's very the Resident Evil, the very top one, is very sort of Hollywood-esque, sort of movie trailer type sort of cover art. So it certainly looks like it'd be an interesting game. And of course, obviously talking about the Game Awards, what do you think about Batman? Will we hear from Batman? Will we finally hear? Because it's the only one now where they could say something.
Yes. If they don't say anything now, they're going to have to wait until, I guess, either PlayStation 5 announcement or Xbox announcement. That would go down well. Yeah. I just do not know. Because you never know, because they could have got close. Because if you think about it, over the summer, we had Batman Day, we had the 80th anniversary. There was a whole tweet where we had the Court of Owls, and Scott Snyder, who wrote the Court of Owls, went, it's coming. And then that tweet got taken down, which we reported on. Batman Day, there was all these different icons that were flashed on the side of a building. So there's definitely some marketing happening there. So whether Sony or Xbox have swooped in and said, look, here's a whole truck full of cash. Can you do me a favor and have that as a launch title for Xbox or PlayStation, or can you announce it at the same time we announce PlayStation or Xbox? So no, you're right. 13th of December is that last chance for them to kind of announce an Arkham game. They're making something. They're making something over there.
And it's stupid o'clock in the morning, isn't it? Because I just remembered, I'm in London on the 12th, so I'll be getting back at stupid o'clock, so I'll probably start and watch it.
No, absolutely. I always I think it's about 2 o'clock. I always set my alarm for about 2 and just kind of sit in bed with the iPad or go downstairs and just watch it on the big screen with headphones. And it's always good. It's always good fun. Sometimes it's worthwhile. Maybe you can't really kind of like, it's not like Sky where you can kind of start it from the start if it's live. You can't, so you have to either go from the start and then endure some of the stuff, or you watch it a bit later and fast forward some of the more tedious bits.
I did see, because wasn't it Jeff Keighley that did the opening to Gamescom this year, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Because I did see a thing the other day saying they've renewed that for next year's Gamescom as well. So that's going to be an ongoing feature now, which is quite cool. So and I might, I don't know about yourself, but I quite fancy maybe Gamescom next year. Might line that up as one of my ones to go to.
Yeah, absolutely. Gamescom's such a fantastic, it's great. It's beer. It's bratwurst. It's absolutely fantastic, and it was really, when I went, when Battlefront came out, and Rare Replay was being shown then. So, and it was a really good. I really enjoyed it, and it was just 2 days in Cologne. We went over in the morning, came back the next day after a day in Cologne. It was just really nice, it was really good fun. So I highly recommend it. But though Keighley had that thing, didn't he? It was like Gamescom at night or something, kicking it off.
That's it.
With a whole load of. Yeah,
because wasn't it Kojima was there, wasn't it? Because they had some Death Stranding stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Wherever Jeff Keighley is, Kojima's somewhere. Vice versa.
Have you rolled the credits on haven't on Death Stranding yet, or
no, but I have jumped back into it.
Actually, yes, no, because that was because it was you were doubting whether you would jump back into it after Star Wars.
Yes, but I have jumped back into it, but I haven't given it any kind of serious time because I've been playing Horizon and Pokemon. But yeah, no, definitely kind of jump back into it, and it's quite nice to jump back into it as well. So it's definitely quite a nice game.
So many games, so little time.
I can see me playing that over Christmas. You know, big hunk of Christmas cake, some port, and just like literally just playing Death Stranding, just walking around playing Death Stranding. I can see that kind of. Or is
some nice cheese, some port, a fat belly from Turkey, and playing 5 hours of delivering parcels in a virtual world.
Because you'd just be like Santa, you know, you'd just be like, they should get like a DLC.
What about DLC? Yeah,
exactly.
Norman Reedus Santa DLC.
Yes.
Santa that peas.
I saw some. I saw some.
Make it so.
Yeah, exactly. That's all they need. It's just like find it in a bin somewhere. You find a Santa seat, and then that is it. Done. Superb. And speaking of done, that's about it for this episode. Big thank you for listening. Stu, huge thanks for pulling up a mic.
No, anytime, my friend. No worries whatsoever.
Don't forget you can keep up with us at gamersoflostspark.com. You can also find us on Facebook and also on Twitter. We're at Lost Spark Pod. Stu, where can people catch up with you?
You can mainly catch up with me on the Xbox as General Letdown, also on the PSN as General Letdown, and on Twitter as Mr. Stuart Burgess.
Fantastic. For me, I am Chessman on Xbox Live and Nintendo Switch, PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network, and Chessman UK on Twitter. Don't forget, if you have any feedback or any end-of-the-year questions, send them to our email address. That's feedback@gamersoflostspark.com. That's about it. Say goodbye, Stu.
Good evening, my friends. Merry Christmas.
Bye!